Hey guys, welcome in. We're about to kick off episode 3, do our creative meeting, and then hop into our third episode of Total Wrestling we've done so far. Um, so far, I'm recording this just after the launch video came out, but a lot of more views than I expected on that already. So thanks, guys. Gonna try and keep that momentum rolling and keep these videos coming. If there's anything you guys want to see or see done differently or suggestions or anything like that, please let me know in the comments. I am not going to be able to come up with, every single idea by myself, and not every idea that I do come up with will be great. So, um, yeah, it's a collaborative effort. No real major news from the past week, so we'll just go ahead and jump right to our pre-show stuff. All right, give the night off. So somebody that I forgot to do this with last time was Mighty Mo. He obviously got injured, quote unquote, the other night, or on our first episode of Total Wrestling. So he's still out injured. So we'll go ahead and do that just because he's got some pop, and I don't want him to be mad that we leave him off some shows. Other than that, though, I mean, all our major stars are going to be on the show right now because they kind of have to be. Um, and I think everybody else who would be offended by being left off is already in a storyline, so they should be on there as well. Let's go ahead and go forward. Yes, I'm done. Select the venue. You know, so I think the goal is to try and get. Let's pick one. So we were in Austin last time. What about we did like Oklahoma, somewhere in Oklahoma. Can we do that? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do Oklahoma. Sure. All right, booking team meeting. What we all came here for. Again, I mean, still just building up that CE. Um, yeah, still kind of trying to figure this whole thing out. I really like it, and it adds something really different to the game and new. Um, but still kind of trying to figure out the best groove for it and all that. We might as well spend it again because I mean we have it. What should we do though? Should we do an angle idea or a creative finish? I think we already have. Let me check our stored creative ideas. We already have the one that we got from last time with Greg Gage and the one that Troy Tornado brought to us, which is going to be a storyline hit for Troy Tornado and a creative finish um, for Greg Gage. Let's go ahead and do an angle then. Yep, let's go ahead and spend it. A safe bet, and there are no restrictions on this idea. Expires in March. Excellent. We'll go ahead and save that. Boom. Um, right now we're at 173. I don't know. Should we? If anybody has any experience with this, let me know what the best point of action is for this. But just because I don't know exactly what to do with it right now, I'm going to go ahead and skip forward. But I think maybe I'll do some reading on the forums and see where people are at on this creative energy and best ways to utilize it. Go ahead and skip forward. Locker room incidents. We had a bunch last time. Nothing bad, but a whole bunch of happenings. Let's see what's going on this time. Titan and Mark Speed have been getting on particularly well recently. Cool, cool. That's it. All right, we got friends back there. Excellent. Um, I think we're good on this. We did some team bonding earlier. We're in a good spot backstage. I don't want to, push it too much and have something backfire because it says it can become worse. So let's go ahead and skip forward. And we will go ahead and see you guys after we book the episode and we'll get into some total wrestling. All right, guys, here we are at episode 2 of Total Wrestling. It is Tuesday, the 18th of January, and we are in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The show opens with a wide panning shot of the crowd in an arena hyped up for another night of action. Jasmine Saunders lets us know that our first bout was set up after an altercation in ring last week. In a decent wild brawl, T-Bone Bright defeated Jalen Martins in 12:09 by pinfall with a T-Bone lariat. The two powerhouses size each other up to start things off, circling the ring. Martin strikes first and bounces off the rope, running full speed into T-Bone, who barely moves an inch. T-Bone chuckles, hits the ropes, and charges into Martins. He doesn't budge either. T-Bone looks slightly impressed and slightly annoyed and goes for it again. This time he staggers Martin a bit, but not enough to knock him off his feet. Martin goes for a second attempt to knock T-Bone down, but stops just short of running into T-Bone and hits a quick cheap shot to the gut before Martin pummels him across the back with a double axe handle and starts to take control over his opponent. Martins tries to wear down T-Bone with an abdominal stretch, which only lasts momentarily before T-Bone flips him overhead onto the ground with a hip toss-like maneuver. Martins gets up and a slobber knocker ensues, each man throwing punches wildly, and both land plenty of good shots. Martins lands a particularly nasty forearm to the head of T-Bone, stunning him. Martin tosses him into the ropes and goes for a clothesline, but T-Bone ducks and rebounds with a huge heel, knocking Martins across the ring. T-Bone gets his opponent up for a big vertical suplex and ends it with a T-Bone lariat. Not bad. Segment got a 66. T-Bone with a 72. He has definitely improved since TEW 2020. Jalen Martin still has a way to go, but got the match off to a strong start. As soon as T-Bone's hand is raised in victory, the Syndicate swarms the ring. Doc and Slater drop T-Bone and start stomping on him as Wolf Hawkins directs traffic. Now, back to his feet, Martins joins in as Hawkins signals to the rest of them. Doc and Slater get T-Bone up on Martin's shoulders, and they hit a huge triple powerbomb. The Syndicate starts to leave the ring, but Hawkins lets them know that they're not done yet. He has them pick up T-Bone, who he nails with a full moon rising. The Syndicate exit as the referees and ringside doctor slide in the ring to check on T-Bone. Yeah, segment got a 58. Wolf Hawkins looked good. Not great. But I mean, hey, we're learning as we go. Ratings are definitely harder to come by this time around, I would say. Either that or TCW is just not in nearly as good a shape. Back from commercial, and Sean Dokes recaps the beatdown of T-Bone. These sort of attacks seem to be a theme tonight, as we saw more violent attacks earlier today in the parking lot. A video begins to play showing Divine Fortune making their way to the arena. The main event burst onto the screen as Roderick Remus and Matt Hawking knock Divine Fortune to the ground with clubbing blows. Huggins picks Fortune up and whips him into the side of a production truck. Divine tries to get back to his feet, but is again dropped by a super kick from Hawking. Segment gets a 49. Mark Speed is mid-interest as we cut back to the arena. Then Bradley Blaze makes his entrance, dazzling Dave by his side. In a decent match, Bradley Blaze defeated Mark Speed in 10-12 by pinfall with a Dallas drop. Blaze gets a strong start with some wild strikes, but Speed is no slouch when it comes to brawling either. Eventually catches Blaze with a hard forearm and shoots on him to take him to the ground. Speed's expertise is now on show as he throws a few elbows while on top of Blaze and then tries to lock in a series of submissions. Each time, Speed almost traps his opponent for good. He's finally able to lock on an ankle lock, but before he can fully wrench the foot, Blaze flips onto his back and kicks Speed off of him with both feet to the ground. Blaze climbs back to his feet, but Speed is on him faster than he can recover and nails a snap German suplex to Blaze. Speed locks in a Boston Crab in the center of the ring. Blaze reaches out for the ropes, but Speed yanks him back to the center of the ring. We see Dazzling Dave at ringside, pounding his fists on the apron, hyping Blaze up. Seemingly out of nowhere, Blaze pulls himself to the ropes to get a rope break. The ref breaks up the hold, and Blaze pulls himself on the ropes. Speed isn't allowing him to recover, though, and runs at Blaze, who pulls down the ropes and Speed goes tumbling to the outside. Blaze hypes himself up and slides out of the ring. He and Speed start to brawl, but Blaze gets the upper hand and starts punching Speed around the ring before tossing him into the steel barricades. All of which the crowd loves. I mean, they're just going hyped right now. I mean, he's pushing them into the barricades, the crowd are all cheering and beer spilling all over him and stuff like that. Diamond signals to Blaze that it's time to end things. Blaze tosses Speed back into the ring, lands a few stiff blows, and things end with the Dallas drop. Diamond raises Blaze's hand in the ring to celebrate. Segment gets a 57. Um, Not much to write home about. Identical in-ring performances, 52 and 52. Still simmering. We haven't gotten that crowd popping yet, but I mean, they're just waiting for something good. This might be it. Ooh, no, definitely not. We get a pre-tape from last week featuring Greg Gage, still bloodied from Jay Cord's attack earlier that evening. I knew you wouldn't take what I said well last week, Jay. I probably should have seen tonight coming. You walked away last week, though, before I even got to the real point. Our fathers never got the chance to give the match the world always wanted, but right now we have a chance to give them the next best thing. Cord, Gage for the world title. The sons of Sam Keith and Ripcord head to head with everything on the line. Jay Cord enters the ring. The announcers let us know he's been given the time to answer for his actions and respond to Gage's comments from last week. Cord can hardly get a word out, though, to start things with the amount of booze in the arena, but he carries on anyway. Greg Gage, I know you're watching at home, so I'd like to speak to you directly. The camera pulls in tighter to Cord's face. Greg, you have made the worst mistake of your life. Not trash talking me or my father. Frankly, I don't give a what you have to say. No, the worst mistake of your life wasn't what you said, but what you did. And that's challenged me for the world title. You were not prepared to go to the places that I will go to stay on top. You want to talk about how I didn't follow in my father's footsteps like you did? You're right. I surpassed everything my father ever was, but you're going to live in the shadow of Sam Keith forever. I accept your challenge. Be careful what you wish for. Cord throws down the mic and walks off to close out the segment. 68. I have a feeling the angle would have done better if the crowd was already hot at this point, but I mean, we got him there now. Let's see if it really lets us know. Bonus. I mean, it's just all bonus. I don't know. Who knows? All right. In a decent match, the American Cobras defeated the Bruisers in 8:25 when Marvel Malloy pinned Dominic Rizzoli with a marble breaker. The two young teams go all out from the jump, each showcasing their specific skill sets. The Bruisers hit a series of punches and kicks, and some big double team moves. Spillane hits the springboard elbow on Booth. Malloy hits an exploder suplex on Rizzoli, but eventually the size and strength of the Bruisers overpower the smaller American Cobras, and they work over Spillane in the corner. Finally, the speed and technique of the Cobras come into play as Rizzoli gets Spillane up for a powerbomb, who reverses it into a Hurricane Rana. Rizzoli falls and lands draped over to the second rope. Spillane runs and hits a good old 619. He runs and tags in Malloy. Booth hits the ring and tried to run interference, but Spillane stays in the ring and hits him with a huge super kick. Booth falls over the ropes to the outside, and Spillane vaults over, hitting a senton to the standing but woozy Booth. Back in the ring, Malloy has Rizzoli right where he wants him. He hits a big brain buster and wraps it up with the marble breaker. Both Marvel Malloy and Storm Spillane had the tag team specialist bonus. Nick Booth and Dominic Rizzoli with the great chemistry, good commentary, good color commentary. The crowd's hot. That probably helped quite a bit on this one. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, moving on. We catch up with Jason Azaria getting an interview with the team of Sammy Bach, Tana the Mighty, and Human Arsenal. He asks Tana about Mighty Mo's injury, and Arsenal about the fact that next week he's going one-on-one with Sammy in the Tournament of Legends. Arsenal says that he and Sammy respect each other, and that that won't change regardless who wins next week. Bach interjects, I'm sorry, Jason, but right now we aren't worried about the future. The future isn't written in stone, baby. Right now we are worried about whooping up on Seth Whitehead and those sorry asses in the Elite. Let's go! Sammy jumps up and down and starts jostling Tana and Arsenal to get them hyped up too. Sammy Bach improvised well. Tana improvised well. Human Arsenal essentially improvised well, and the angle got the crowd hotter. We are white hot. If we cannot get a good rating for this match, man, this whole save might be really interesting, and not in a good way. Oh, ooh, man, we're gonna have to figure out something with these ratings. Things start off evenly sorry guys, And I got so flustered by how bad that rating was compared to what I was hoping for. I mean, I was at least hoping for like a 69, 70. And about that had good heat and decent wrestling. Really? Sammy Bach, Tana the Mighty, and Human Arsenal defeated Seth Whitehead and the Elite in 12:06 when Sammy Bach submitted Eddie Chandler with the back on your back. Things start off evenly matched as the skills of Arsenal and Bach size up to the tag team prowess of the Elite. Tana the Mighty gets his chance and plows through Whitehead and Chandler, but once Nate Johnson makes it in the ring, he nails Tana with a dropkick and sends him back into his own corner. Human Arsenal tags himself in and gets to work. He and Johnson have an entertaining exchange, but Johnson bails out after Arsenal lands a big boot. He tags in Whitehead, who at first is no match for the seasoned vet. Arsenal lands a few strong blows and gets Whitehead up for a suplex. Whitehead is able to knee Arsenal in the head while upside down in the air, falling behind his back and landing a belly-to-back suplex onto Arsenal. Whitehead holds on and rolls through, hitting another belly-to-back suplex, then finishing the combo with an angle slam. Whitehead tags in the fresh man in Chandler, who works over Arsenal as we go to commercial. When we get back to the action, Arsenal is in a camel clutch, but feeding off the crowd's energy. He stands up, and Chandler's still on his back and jumps backwards, slamming Chandler into the mat. Chandler is the first of his feet, but Arsenal blocks a punch and hits one of his own, followed by a fall-away slam. He runs into the corner and tags in Bach. Sammy runs wild, hitting multiple springboard crossbodies and a spike DDT, and he ends the match with that back on your back on Chandler. Nate Johnson was off his game. I mean, what are we seeing here? And I mean, for real, I know. Oh, yeah, a lot of penalized. Oh, okay. A lot of penalties for not being able to use high risk moves, declining physical ability, physical condition, stamina. Yeah, man, that's that old roster. Inconsistency, but man, for real, those high risk moves. I've changed it in the past when I played TCW and TEW 2020. Two things. Anybody who's playing TCW this time around or just has any knowledge about the the new systems in the game, is there anything I could be doing to get some of these ratings up with the star power that we have? Like, we have some decent stars. And the other question, should I just go ahead and turn high risk moves off? I feel like with the kind of style and the kind of wrestling that we're doing with this, that makes sense, but I mean, I do definitely think it'll change the ratings and improve them a bit. So if we want this to be more of a challenging save, like, I'm all for it. Let's just keep it as is. But I do think that there's definitely a case for changing that, and it definitely fitting into the narrative and like making sense in game and in world. I'm not really sure why that would be checked off anyway with the kind of style of wrestling that we're doing. All right. All right, we got a couple chances left to get some good ratings. I think 4 to be exact. Let's see what we got. Oh, whew. God, 59. We see the Syndicate chopping it up backstage, and a visibly impatient Jason Azaria standing in the locker room with them. Slater and Doc are recounting the beatdown to TBone earlier. He may not even make it to Malice in Wonderland at this rate, says Doc. Excuse me. Excuse me. The group talks over Jason Azaria. Azaria turns to leave. Whoa! Where are you going? You didn't even ask us anything, says Wolf Hawkins. A frustrated Azaria responds. Flint Slater, I have word from the TCW booking committee. You were set for your first title defense next week against Marvel Malloy. Flint looks surprised. They actually think he deserves a shot against the fastest rising star in combat sports today. I tend to disagree, but the Rottweiler doesn't back down from any fight. I'll be ready. Oh! Azaria ends it with a simple, Sean, back to you. I don't get, y'all. Very hot crowd. 59. But, very hot. Was good. 3 greens. Flint Slater has low morale. Everything else was a bonus besides that. What is up with that? We're definitely going to look into that. Okay. All right, we are uncovering all kind of things, guys. Even if this doesn't end up being the best rated or even the most interesting episode ever, we are definitely getting under the hood and figuring out what the hell's going on here. Moving forward, in a bout that had good heat and subpar wrestling. One Man Army defeated Maverick in 12-10 by pinfall with a guided missile. One Man Army starts things off hot with multiple running strikes and a big spear that drops Maverick early. Army goes up to top in crossbody, but Maverick catches his opponent sideways before spinning him vertically and hitting a big Uranagi on Army, before beating him down with the stomps and grounded punches. Army is able to pull himself into the corner and grab onto the ropes, forcing a rope break. The ref separates the two, but Maverick barges past and delivers a running face wash to Army. Maverick picks him up, and sets up on the top rope. Army is able to kick Maverick enough times and shove him off. Maverick charges back, right into the boot of Army, and he hits the mat. Army hits the second rope elbow drop and goes for the cover, but Maverick powers out at a short two. The two get to their feet, and Army lays into Maverick with his signature brawling style, but the slight power and size advantage of Maverick strikes again when he catches a punch from Army and delivers a kick to the gut, followed by a gut buster. Maverick goes to pin Army, but it's not enough to put him away. A few more grounded strikes and another quick pin attempt from Maverick. This time Army kicks out at one. Maverick goes to pick up Army again. This time a quick punch stings him in the jaw, buying Army just enough time to break free and stagger to the corner to catch his breath. Maverick runs at him and jumps up for a body splash. Army sidesteps, sending Maverick bouncing off the turnbuckle chest first. Army pounces, tackling the staggered Maverick and laying into him with punches of his own on the ground. Maverick again pushes him off, but now the comeback is on. Army finishes the flurry off with a big drop kick and ends it with that guided missile to get the win. Maverick was really off its game. Yeah, man. We are seeing the results of them not turning this roster over in the last 2 years and having over half the roster be those same broken. I mean, not. They're not broken down, but man, like, I'm just penalized for holding. Oh, that's the high risk moves and holding back. Physical condition. But see, then we get the, inconsistency, low morale, declining physical ability on both of them. Ugh. All right. 2 more segments. We better end on a high note. That's what I'm talking about. All right. TBone is sat in a chair with TCW doctors, wrapping up his shoulder in tape and ice pack to boot. Oh, Wolf. It's going to take a lot more than that to keep me down. Do you know what I've been through to get here? Of course you don't. You were trained by Tommy Cornell and waltzed into TCW with a golden ticket to the top. I'm not saying you don't deserve your accolades, because no one can argue your skill, your mind, your passion for this business. But you didn't struggle to get to this point like I did. You didn't claw your way to the top, not ever knowing if you'd get the chance at glory. If you lose to me, Wolf, well, I hate to say it, but you're still a made man. You'll get opportunities, you'll win gold, and life will go on. If I lose to you, well, then that might end up being the closest I ever get to placing my name amongst the best in TCW, the best in this business. Wolf, I can't afford to lose, and in the end, that will be your downfall. TBone Bright enjoyed the freedom to go off script and performed well. TBone, we are finding a storyline way to give this man a promo every episode from here to the end of time. Sorry, y'all, but it's going to be promo train. Every week we could get an opening, old school opening Monday Night Raw segment with TBone Bright being interrupted by somebody and then just TBone Bright talking the whole time. At this rate, at least. Jeez. All right. Our main event. We have Joshua Taylor and Chris Flynn going up against Aaron Andrews and Bradford Peveril. Taylor and Peveril start things off, picking up where they left off last week. Peveril obviously remembers Taylor's attack after the bell, though, as he comes at Taylor with immediate aggression. Although he lands a few shots, his anger gets the better of him, and Taylor is able to duck a forearm and capitalize with a forearm of his own into the face of Peveril, who half falls, half walks to his corner and tags in Andrews. The crowd starts to get hyped up for the confrontation. Taylor wants no part in it, though, and tags in Flynn. Flynn cockily struts out to the middle of the ring to meet Andrews. Andrews gets in a fighting stance and tries to sweep Flynn's leg. Flynn back steps and lunges forward for a lariat, but Andrews anticipates it and runs underneath Flynn's outstretched arm. He hits the rope and rebounds with a drop kick to the back of Flynn, whose momentum sends him bouncing into the ropes. He rebounds. Andrews jumps up almost over him and plants him with a famouser from behind to celebrate, and the faces are on top as we head to commercial. We come back, and Bradford Peverill is wearing down Chris Flynn with chops in the corner. He winds up his arms and shushes the crowd, but it takes too long, and Flynn switches their positions and begins battering Peverill with fists in the corner. He steps into a huge knee to the gut, and Peverill slouches against the bottom turnbuckle. He tags in Taylor, who hits a running meteora into Peverill. It's all downhill from there. Minutes go by of a prolonged beatdown by Taylor. Miraculously, Peverill kicks out at 2, each time frustrating Taylor. Taylor complains to the ref after one close 2 too many, and Peverill catches him with a schoolboy. He rolls through and delivers a huge super kick before tagging in Aaron Andrews. Andrews wrecks shop, laying out Taylor with strike after strike, but an Irish whip goes wrong, nearly ends with Taylor crashing into referee Ray Johnson. Taylor grabs onto the ref, and Flynn uses the distraction to run in and club Andrews in the back of the head with authority before sliding back out of the ring. Andrews, now knocked silly, falls into his corner, outstretched arms, and tags in Peverill. He runs in and is immediately met with a flying knee and hit with the butterfly and locks on the butterfly lock for the finish. All right, y'all. We are still probably not going to gain popularity this episode. But man, if this was not a top-heavy one. 77 rating. Good heat, decent wrestling. 1758. Joshua Taylor and Chris Flynn defeat Aaron Andrews and Bradford Peverill, who had great chemistry when teaming together. That definitely probably saved this entire episode. Because, I mean, even Joshua Taylor at a 59. Let's see what they're looking at. High risk moves on almost all of them. All right, y'all. I am in the boat of switching it over and doing the high risk moves on there, but you guys can let me know if you feel differently. Please do, because if not, I'm probably going to do it within a couple episodes. Finish the show and see what we get. 73. Lose popularity again, but gain popularity in Canada. Let's go ahead and finish the show and see what we're working with. Address the locker room. No injury review, no injury financial report. Let's see, 379. We're making money. That's not bad. Popularity recap. We didn't even lose a full point, and we gained a couple of actual, legitimate points in Quebec and Ontario. So, there are worse things. No media scrum. Let's go ahead and fast forward. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. We'll recap anything that goes on after this or during the week prior to the next episode. I appreciate you guys watching. The support really has been sick on these videos, and we'll keep them coming. Have a good one.